Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I am back with a very special guest, the one person on this website who will talk to me, IanWaffles. Introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm IanWaffles. I'm the one guy on the internet who will talk to Silver Ace. Is that? I think that's right. That's what you told me. I'll get my paycheck after this, right?
That was not discussed.
Ah, well, friendship over. Delete. Anyway,
Oh, dang.
yes, no, I'm Ian Waffles. I've got a YouTube channel. I've been on this by the same name, Ian Waffles. I've been on here before with Ace to talk about Sonic, and it's always a blast. And I'm just excited to be back in the saddle. So let's do it.
Yes, yes. So today, we want to talk about, because right now, we know Sonic Prime exists. We know certain things about it, but we don't know, like, a lot about it. So this is, like, the perfect time to, like, do some speculating, some theorizing, throw some things out there, like, what do we want, maybe what do we don't want, before we get a trailer and all of this becomes moot. So, yeah. But before we get into any of that, Ian, well, first of all, because most people are not going to make it to the end of this video, what's your channel about?
My channel is mostly just analyzing whatever I want. I mostly talk about anime. I've made two videos on My Hero Academia, on Eri, and on Overhaul. I've made two anime analysis videos on characters from Kyoto animation shows, so Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions and K-On! And recently I've been working on two large Kingdom Hearts videos. So if any of that interests you, then definitely check it out. I think they're pretty good, or else I wouldn't have made them. So, so hopefully you like them as well.
Alrighty. Well, before we get into any of the speculating or anything, I want to know, Ian, when you first saw that tweet that some poor Netflix intern sent out ahead of schedule about there being a Sonic cartoon, just what were your thoughts? Like, at that moment, Sonic cartoon, Netflix, like, what were you thinking?
Well, I think initially I was probably pretty cynical about it in the sense of like, okay, like it's a new Sonic cartoon, but with kind of like the direction of the games and like their tone and stuff, I don't think I had too much immediate investment of like, oh, it could be something different or something unique. I was just like, oh, so it's probably just going to be more of the same of what Sonic had done. And also hearing something like Sonic Prime immediately makes me think of something like the Archie comics or there's a Prime universe. And so I had kind of thought like, oh, maybe there's going to be alternate realities. And I'm like, if that's the case, then, that just reminds me of the Phantom Ruby and all the different stuff and, the Mania. And so it basically was just bad vibes all around. I was not that intrigued. And I was like, well, good luck with that. Whoever wants to make that.
Okay, so you're when you saw like that first press release, them talking about the multiverse and all that, that didn't turn you around on the concept?
Not really. Not until I found out who was making it. That was when I really started to give it a second look. When I heard that Man of Action and specifically they said a team that would similarly work on something like Generator Rex and that the show would kind of have that kind of tone. That was when I immediately turned around and I was like, oh, intriguing. Tell me more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, it wasn't so much. I didn't really watch a lot of Generator Rex, but I watched a lot of Ben 10 when I was younger, so
Me too.
I trust those guys. I've actually been rewatching through it lately, but that is a topic for another day or never.
Right.
But
But what was your initial reaction?
well, when I first saw just Sonic cartoon Netflix, I had no opinion. I was like, oh, because that was like what around like December. I want to say I probably should have looked into that before I got in here, but I want to say it was like late 2020 when when that like first leaked out. And
Right.
it was like it's hard to get excited when you know literally nothing about a thing.
Yeah, of course.
So and also like the last Sonic cartoon, Sonic Boom, I don't like very much. Unpopular opinion, but so
Right.
so I was like, I very much had like a wait and see attitude towards it.
Yeah.
But but when we got that announcement of Sonic Prime and the multiverse thing, I mean, there's a video on my channel that anyone watching this is interested can go and look at, which had more or less my initial reaction. I was pretty excited because for me, the multiverse stuff, I don't know why. I know there are some people who don't like the idea of like multiverse stuff just because it's it's a very out there thing. But for me, it's like you can do literally anything. So if the multiverse is a concept where if you have a cool creative team behind it, it can be really cool, and if you don't, it can be really disappointing.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, I was like, I remember, it's kind of hard to describe. I was intrigued. I don't know if I would say I was hyped, but I was definitely like looking forward to learning more. And then when that concept art came out, well, Ian, you've seen the concept art, I assume. What did you think of that?
Well, so with the concept art, I definitely really like kind of obviously it's concept art, so it's gonna look very different from the final product. But I definitely enjoy this idea of like just how far they seem like they want to take it. Like, you know, you have like caveman Amy or like a depressed on the road Robotnik or something like that. And I think stuff like that was like really intriguing as far as like, oh, okay, like we're really gonna try to kind of like consistently have Sonic interacting with different versions of these things and kind of going to new locations. It's not just and the way the city looked, I really liked the color of it, which I hope translates into the 3D animation and stuff. The only thing that kind of stood out to me is that all of Sonic's reactions to it are mostly "duh." What? And that's got me a bit nervous because I don't want. Whoa, is this crazy? What's going on? What? I really want that Sonic. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from the concept art. But I would definitely, you know, and of course he's doing like the Fortnite dance or whatever, which is fine to me. But if he's going to be like, it seems like he's very much going to be movie Sonic, which I don't dislike, but I would like movie Sonic to just be movie Sonic, where he's the bright-eyed, like, you know, like, oh, I wanna be something, you know, put me in the game, Cap, you know, that kind of thing. So that kind of has made me like a bit hesitant, but otherwise, I really like the feel of everything else about it. And they've talked about it with the press about it's a story of redemption, whatever that means for Sonic. So apparently, he's gonna go through some stuff. And hopefully he'll kind of have more of that adventure attitude or just a bit more confidence. That's kind of just all I really want is that kind of that confidence to him. And not bright-eyed, bushy tail. Whoa! So we'll see.
You need to stop doing that.
I know. I did it specifically because I was like, man, like that's like triggers him or something. He's like,
look. I've put out like 7 fires today. All right, I'm okay.
I've got you in a broken state.
Yes. So okay, for me, I had kind of the exact opposite reaction to the concept art. I was kind of like, oh, because okay, I admit that. Okay, so when we as Sonic fans hear Sonic Multiverse, what we think is like, or at least I'm sure a lot of us were like, oh, is there gonna be like Black Knight is a multiverse and like Secret Rings is a multiverse, and Ian, I'm sure you and I both, you know, thought of like Zone Wars and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And that's because we're nerds. But like the show is not made for us. And that's kind of what this concept art like kind of, you know, hit me with, because it's like, oh, so it's like he goes, it's like what you said, like he's like, oh no, I met a version of Amy, but she's a cave woman. Or I met a version of Knuckles, but he's a pirate. And it's like, I never expected them to go like super hard into the multiverse stuff. Like I didn't think we were getting like What If, but for Sonic. But like, I don't know, just something about like that concept kind of puts me off. But then thinking more about it, I looked into it, and this show is supposed to have 24 episodes. And I don't know, and if the show is just Sonic goes to another multiverse, meets an alternate version of his friend, has a wacky adventure, and then leaves. I don't know how you could do that for 12 episodes, much less 24. So I assume the wacky meeting alternate versions of his friends stuff is like the first arc.
Yeah.
And either what I'm betting on right now is that that's the first arc, and then when he goes throughout these different multiverses, he's essentially like collecting these versions of his friends. So like, you know, this version of Tails with like the jacket on, he's going to join Sonic when he goes to like the next multiverse, and then this Amy is going to join him, and then I mean, I assume this is Pirate Knuckles. We don't see him, but we see a flag that has like a kid and a head on it. I assume that we're the first.
It's a pirate ship, Knuckles. Instead of being a pirate, he's just actually the ship.
What is it, Knight Rider? They're just like,
Yeah, that would be great. And in the final battle, they ride him and he glides.
it's like God, Ninjago is probably after your time, but I just imagined like it's like that ship, but voiced by Dan Green.
Perfect.
But like, so I imagine that's what like the first arc is gonna be like building the team, and then maybe we'll get into like other like crazier stuff afterwards. But I don't know. But so, should we just jump into like hopes and dreams for this show, or do you have another thing you want to bring up about like what we actually know about it thus far?
No, that's pretty much it. It's mostly just we know the kind of just like the tone it seems to be going for, which is, if it's based more in Generator Rex or something like that, like regardless of any feelings you might have on that series was, if nothing else, ambitious. So that's kind of what I got from that, is like, okay, we're going to try to go for something grand if possible.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see, obviously.
Yeah. So the first thing I wrote down, and it's a bit of a minor point, but it's something that sticks in my craw a lot about modern television, so I wanted to say it. This show needs to have a theme song.
Yes, please.
Because I don't know when the memo went out to, Hollywood or whatever, that kids shows didn't need to have theme songs anymore, but like, it's stupid and it needs to stop.
It's regular show's fault.
Maybe, I don't know, but I've noticed it so much, like Power Rangers for the last couple seasons have just had like 15-second little like jingles. They don't have like real theme songs anymore. Like, it's time to stop. Like,
and also you're on Netflix, so you can just do it. Like no one would, yeah.
And like, I'm sure like the justification people would give is like, oh well, kids are gonna want to sit through the theme song. It's on a streaming service; they can skip it if it bothers them. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, and also the goal of a theme song has always been that, like, whenever you see it, it's like, whoa, it's that show I like, and it's supposed to give you a vibe of like, oh right, this is why I like that show. This is why I'm coming back. So, I mean, just like be a good theme song. It's not hard. People have been doing it for forever until they stopped.
Yeah. Well, and like I was actually like a couple nights ago, I was watching through the first couple episodes of Sad AM with my sister, and like that theme song slaps. Like, every episode, like, like it gets you ready for what's to come.
Yeah, and you get a vibe of what the show's like.
Yeah, and then nowadays it's like, I mean, again, either shows nowadays don't have a theme song, or it's a very quick one, which this has just turned into old man Ace get off my lawn about modern animation. But like,
well, they have dirty shoes.
Yeah, but like, especially since, as I said before, I've been watching through Ben 10 again, and like the music in that show is so good. So like, I'm sure that Man of Action has like some in-house guys, or like some guys on speed dial that could do some good music for this show.
Yeah, exactly, and it's something I'm definitely looking forward to as well.
Yeah, but so again, that was just a quick point. I just wanted to have a little rant about that. But so my first kind of meaty point, I guess, is. You mentioned before about how they said how this is going to have a darker, more serious tone. I guess what I would want to talk about is, like, does that matter? Because at the end of the day, the reason Sad AM is so beloved isn't because it's, like, quote-unquote, like, super dark. It's because the characters work and the setting is interesting. Yeah. And similarly, the reason Boom sucks is not because it's a comedy. It's not because it's lighthearted. It's because it's not funny. I will die on this hill, by the way.
Right.
Comments. But so, I guess my thing is like, because originally, when I had a similar thing to you, and by the way, I'm still happy about the fact that they are going in a more serious direction, because we haven't had a good, like, story-driven Sonic show since X. But I guess my thing is, like, like, you look at, like, the IDW comics, right? And those are, like, quote-unquote serious, but, like, I think those are, like, one of the best examples that show, like, it doesn't matter how, like, super serious your piece of media is. If your characters are not interesting, then the serious moments do not carry the same weight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple thing that happens a lot, where when people are kind of just trying to formulate their emotions on something, it's like, okay, well, why did I like this thing? And it's like, well, usually when you have a story that is more serious, at the very least, that kind of means it's more I guess, focused on something. And so I think what people might unfortunately take from that kind of stuff is, for example, something like a Shonen or a Dragon Ball or something like that. It's like, oh, like, you know, it has something that they're engaging with, and they're like, okay, well, what's different? And it's like, oh, well, it's more serious. That's got to be it. Well, really, it's just more that it's more interesting to you. And being dark is not inherently interesting or like good. So with me, as far as it being dark and like what it could do with that, I don't really need a Sonic cartoon to be dark. All I really want it to do is just take itself not even seriously, just be sincere, I guess is the idea. Is like have like a goal or like a thing that you're trying to do, and then really go for it. Instead of just kind of like what I wouldn't want this show to be is just, here's this kind of wacky idea this week, but we kind of half-heartedly do a few gags with it. You know, Sonic goes, whoa! And then, you know, we tune in next week. Like, I really want, like, if you're going to do that kind of thing, like, what makes Ben 10 so good is it's episodic. But what's great about it isn't that it's, like, serious or anything like that. It's that it really engages in the idea of, okay, if you're a 10-year-old kid watching this, how cool would it be if you could turn into these aliens, and what would you as a child do with that kind of power, and what kind of cool superhero antics could you get up to? And it goes in on that in as many fun and creative ways as possible, and it just happens to sometimes be serious, you know? And so that's kind of what I would hope the Sonic cartoon would be, is just indulge as much as possible in doing this crazy alternate universe thing, but tell genuine stories. Don't just like mock yourself, you know, which has kind of been a thing that a lot of people are kind of over with current Sonic. But don't take yourself too seriously, to the sense to where you start out and it's like, oh, I've doomed the world or something, but you haven't earned it. You know, you got to earn that kind of stuff. You got to earn my investment. You can't just say it's dark and serious, there are zombies, care.
Yeah. And like, again, my thing with you're absolutely right about that point. But by the way, I feel like I should ask, what are your feelings on Boom? Because I've just been mercilessly shitting on it for the last like 10 minutes.
Oh, I haven't really checked it out. I just know like all the memes that people have posted. I really like the comic of it. I think it's a lot of fun. I really like how meta it gets, where they'll like they play with the fact that like their characters introduce themselves with like logos. I just think it's fun. Like I don't really have too strong opinions of it one way or the other. But I do want to check it out to kind of get a stronger vibe for it. But I don't care if you crap on it.
Yeah. Well, because my thing again was, I was gonna say, is like, honestly, to me, like a friggin' like slice of life like comedy series focusing on what the Sonic heroes do in their off time, that sounds great to me. Like, it just as like a concept, I'm sure to a lot of people that sounds horribly boring and uninteresting. But like, for me, it would the two requirements you would need for that is, one, you would need everyone to be in character. Like the reason Boom doesn't work is because they're all such like cardboard cutout stereotypes. Like Knuckles isn't Knuckles. Like he's every like big dumb jock stereotype. Like, so you're not doing comedy with these characters that are established. You're doing comedy with these like, you know, cardboard cutouts that you've slapped faces we recognize.
Who happen to be wearing the skin of Sonic and his friends.
Yes. Like the last time we talked, you're like Shadow trying to get reacclimated to life on Earth after being asleep for 50 years. Like, that's like a genuinely funny concept you could do an episode around. But like, instead, what they do is that you know, Shadow, they just turn Shadow into the like, you know, stereotype that is on the internet of him.
Yeah, which is why a lot of people do like it, because they enjoy that kind of self-deprecating humor. I do, although I do say that one of the best jokes from that show is when they say like Roger Roger, and it's like wait, who's Roger? And then Roger playing Sonic goes into his normal voice and he goes, "Don't worry, I got you, Tails." And then he goes back into Sonic's voice and he goes, "Anyway, let's move on," or something like that.
That was a good joke. But so, okay. The Sonic Boom Bash hour is now over. Anyway, so yeah, that was
quick.
I don't know. Well, I had another point, but we've strayed far enough from the what we're here to talk about. So
no biggie. It's in the realm of just like what kind of shows we would or wouldn't want it to be like.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say so. I think you said you'd watch Sonic X, right? Or you'd like grown up with it.
So again, I didn't really quote unquote grow up with any like Sonic stuff. Again, I got into Sonic around like the time I was like 13, 14, which is obviously you're still like growing up at that time, but like I wasn't like a little kid.
Right,
but like I really got into it with like Sad AM. I watched X a little later, but it didn't really grab me the same way. I went back to it later, and quite enjoyed it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's similar to me. I grew up with Sad AM as well after the fact, like after it had come out. Like I got the DVD, but I technically grew up with it because I watched it as a kid. But yeah. No, with that kind of thing, with like Sonic X or whatever, I think that if there was anything it could pull from for Sonic X, it would be kind of like that long form storytelling it did in like season 2 and season 3, where it would do like the game arcs or like its own story arc, where like let's just go on like a fun adventure and collect all our friends and like just do like crazy stuff. Like you know, like you have all these characters and you have all this potential. Like let's pull on everything and just have fun. And I think that's mostly what I want from the show, is for it to just be ambitious. Like just, don't just be like, oh, isn't it funny that it's, Caveman Amy and we hang out with Caveman Amy, she does jokes and then that's it. Like put some heart behind it, or, just do anything. Have Sonic, meet her and think about the actual Amy he knows, or just anything, Yeah. I think that kind of stuff would be really enjoyable. Or like, have him team up, like you said, kind of bring along different versions of these characters. Like have him have an Eggman that's a part of his team. Just really play around with the fact that the show, as far as I can tell, would have to be made with the knowledge that some things about Sonic, right? Because otherwise, how can it riff on them? Or not riff on them, but subvert your expectations of what they would be like, with the alternate realities. So I really think it would be fun if it did indulge in that, and it wasn't just that they just kind of stuck around in their own little world and Sonic leaves. But who knows? We really don't know what it's going to be about. I think as far as Sonic's character, I don't really need him to have an arc, but it seems like he's going to. So if he's not gonna have an arc, then I would like him to have a personality that can display a wide array of emotions and have nuanced reactions to different people. Like if he's going to be confident in one scenario, let me see a scene where maybe he gets scared, or he kind of mellows out for a second, has a heart to heart with someone, or like, tells it like it is. And if he, just let him have variety and be a person that I would want to see being cool. Because Sonic is in that kind of realm of a character where you don't need him to grow or change. Sonic's concept of being this fast, wisecracking, cool guy is just fun. So let me see him do that, as long as he has cool characters to bounce off of course. But if you're going to give him an arc, then I think it would be fun to kind of play around with those different elements of him, of his character. I would guess if they said something about it's a story of redemption, maybe Sonic is the one who creates these alternate timelines by screwing something up. And so if you want to indulge in the side of like Sonic not really thinking things through, and therefore, but maybe, one of his best attributes is that he's good at thinking on the fly, kind of have those two things merged together, where like he's thrown into this crazy situation of his own making, but he kind of has to figure it out as he goes along and try to save the day. I don't know, just anything like that would be really nice.
Yeah, I actually had Sonic's characterization as the next point on my my little notes, so you segued perfectly into that. So essentially, yeah. So essentially, what I was thinking about, right? Because I've done some thinking. It doesn't happen often, but I've done it, and I came to kind of a realization, and that's that I don't necessarily need Sonic to be like. I'm okay with Sonic being two-dimensional in certain aspects, because looking at other pieces of Sonic media, a lot of times Sonic works best not when he's going through his own like character stuff, but when he's facilitating the character progression of others.
He acts as a constant.
Yeah, like some examples obviously would be like Tails' arc in the adventure games, Shadow's arc. You could even say Elise in 06, with his whole message of like, take action, if you have time to worry, then run. Which actually, real quick, I'm just going to, Ian, I'm sorry, I need to say this now. For the love of G's, people, when he says, if you have time to worry, then run, he is not saying run away from your problems. He is saying if you have time to worry about something, you have time to do something about the thing you're worrying about. I do not know how so many people can misinterpret this very simple idea.
Well, it's just, that right there is just kind of one of those something is trying to be like sincere and kind of get a message across, and it's like, well, technically, if you think about it this way, that's pretty stupid if you think about it, and just kind of basically going with the most like bad faith interpretation. So it's Sonic. He's hanging out with a human that people already don't like. So of course you're gonna be like, oh, and it gets even worse. Sonic says to run from your problems. Thanks, kids. I remember that one from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, just piling on it. So yeah, I'd say it's less misinterpretation and more like, or less sincere misinterpretation and more willful, just bad faith, like analysis of it.
Yeah, I suppose that's what I get for being one of 3 fans of 06. But
indeed, you
anyway.
and Jay reviews.
Oh, is he like 06?
Oh yeah, he made like a 2-hour. This is why 06 is pretty neat, even if it sucks, kind of.
Oh well, maybe I'll have to check that out. But so
yeah, it's real good. Anyway,
essentially, so. But the problem with what I just said about how, Sonic, it's okay if he's two-dimensional, if he's kind of not in the focus, if he's just there to facilitate other people's character arcs, is that it seems like he's going to be like the one constant in the show. Like,
yeah, he'd have to be.
Yeah, because like you could, unless they do my idea of like he's assembling this team of alternate reality versions of his friends, but even then, it's still likely that he's going to be like the main focus, which means that the show's like I guess heart or whatever is really going to live or die on like his character.
Yeah.
Which, needless to say, worries me a little bit based on what we've seen of Sonic's character in recent years.
Right.
But so, and you mentioned before, and I even wrote this down, the whole self-discovery and redemption thing. Yeah, I assume it's going to have to be something about like, oh no, Sonic tripped and he broke the multiverse device, and now there's all these.
He kicked the magic conch.
I was trying so hard not to bring that up, but but so
if you won't ruin your day, I will.
But so essentially, I'm just like, what do you have any like theories about like what the self-discovery and redemption could be in reference to?
Well, I think I talked about the redemption part where like yeah, if he screws up, but you said self-discovery?
Yeah, because that was the other thing. They said it was a story of self-discovery and redemption. Because I have an idea.
Okay, well, again, if we're going with this Sonic being kind of like the bright-eyed, whoa, that kind of thing, then maybe like he's in a position where he is like kind of an early Sonic. And so I guess it would make sense if this is his hero's journey, if that makes sense, where he's going to come of his own. He's going to become kind of like that confident, cool Sonic by the end of it. But he's thrown into this crazy situation that he happens to create because he's immature and young or something like that. Like that seems like something you would do, because I don't think too many people want to start Sonic as being cool for some reason. They want to make that the kind of the end game, which yeah, like you can do that, but I would just rather him just be cool. Just let him be good at first, but we'll see.
Dude, you do the Ryan Drummond like whoa so well.
You've turned into a big time villain, Doctor. Not as good for that one, but
oh jeez. But so did you see that clip on Twitter from Sonic Colors Ultimate where it's like the deep fake of Roger where he just goes like, Tails, these edibles ain't shit, and then it does the Ryan Drummond like whoa clip.
Whoa. Yeah, that's great. I haven't seen that, but that sounds amazing.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you. It's buried in my likes somewhere. But so I guess I think maybe what it might be, I think it might be the opposite of what you said, where Sonic starts off as kind of like this meek, bright-eyed character, and then evolves into like the Sonic we know. I'm thinking maybe it starts off where Sonic, he's like more brash, more arrogant. He doesn't want to think things through. And maybe the lesson he learns throughout Sonic Prime is that like you need to slow down, you need to think things through, and maybe even this thought is just coming to me. What if the series starts right, and Sonic kind of has like a falling out with his friends, because presumably, if this show, and they've essentially said this, Suzuka's essentially said Sonic Prime is marketing for the movie, or not the movie, is marketing for the games. If they're trying to get new people, and they're displaying these alternate universe versions of the characters as just that alternate universe version of the characters, you would assume that they're going to at least somewhat touch upon the main versions of the characters.
Yeah, you'd have to.
What if the show kind of starts?
Whoa!
What if this show begins with Sonic having a falling out with like the main version of his friends, and kind of in his like not rage, but I don't know. He goes to confront whatever Dr. Eggman's latest scheme is, which has something to do with the multiverse. He gets pulled into that. And while he's meeting these alternate versions of his friends and remembering the good times he had with his actual friends, he's realizing, like, I need to appreciate my friends and realize, like, the good things I have while I still have them. Because, like, I'm lost in the multiverse and I don't know if I'll ever be able to find my way back. Or something like that, you know?
Yeah, well, and maybe they could also be the B story of trying to find Sonic. And,
that'd be cool.
And then, yeah, that way you could... Because you don't want to be too far away from them, because you want them to still be doing stuff, too. And also, it's just nice to have them be proactive. So...
Yeah, also then at the end, you could have a fun scene where, like, normal Amy and, like, cavewoman Amy are fighting side by side, and you got, like, Knuckles riding the pirate ship version of himself in the battle.
Indeed. That's powered by the Chaos Emerald or the Master Emerald, which is his
yes. God, oh man, I wish my channel's not that big, but like if anyone listening to this wants to draw fan art of pirate ship Knuckles, I will feature it in a video. So that's literally an idea I just have like in that moment about like the friends thing. But like again, I think the self discovery is just him being maybe the idea of like. You know, it's okay to slow down, and you can even tie those two things together, like slow down and appreciate the things you have. Like, I don't know.
That'd be something you could do with Speed, Sonic, kind of writes itself, which would be fun. You could do that. You just got to make it. You just got to earn it. And if you're gonna do that, definitely, they got to be careful about making Sonic too like unlikable at the start. Which again, it's my biggest worry that he's just gonna start out being like the immature version of himself, like the worst version of himself, and it's like, well, why would I want to follow you?
yeah so, every version of Sonic has to strike that balance, so
yeah, definitely
we'll see. Before we get into the next one, I'm just curious, I meant to ask this at the beginning but I forgot, what is your favorite Sonic cartoon?
I'd probably say Sad AM, just because I really dig Sonic and Sally's dynamic, and I really dig just Robotnik anything in that show. But also, I haven't watched Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I've not seen Sonic X in years, and I've not watched all of Boom. So it's kind of like it just is itself, But yeah, I really enjoy that show. But I have a lot of good memories with X, and I would like to go back to it. So, and I haven't seen Underground. So,
oh well, Underground is clearly the best one for the.
Well, yeah, you got to have music numbers. This show doesn't have music numbers, and like, can you really call it a modern Sonic cartoon? Like at that point, we're just missing out.
Well, of course. Actually, okay, real quick, because you're like my Archie Sonic encyclopedia. Did Manic and Sonya, Sonic's children, show up first, or did Manic and Sonya in that show as his brothers and sisters show up first?
I am fairly positive that Underground came out first.
Okay,
pretty sure that would be a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, well, because I remember he had like 2 unnamed children in
exactly
some early issue, but 25 years later, like the backup stories are now into like the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, exactly. So then because I'm reading through it right now, and he has like 2 kids, but they don't have like names or anything.
Yeah, by the way, I have very much appreciated that your Twitter account has just become like an out-of-context Archie Sonic Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm glad people have been liking them because it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh no, Dr. Robotnik. He created the perfect woman, but he didn't waterproof her. The world is too cruel.
And the weird thing is, that turns into like a super serious plot point that creates a schism between him and Sonic like 100 issues later.
Oh, Sonic comic.
You gotta love it, but
I do.
So do I. But real quick, I'll just say myself, in terms of my favorite Sonic show, it's kind of a tie. I love Saturday AM to death. It's literally what made me a Sonic fan. But at the same time, the third season of Sonic X is perfect.
Pretty cool. I like
it. Well, it's got one blemish on it, Chris. But other than that, it's wonderful. But like, so those two are like deadlocked. But like, if you're looking at Saturday AM as a whole versus X as a whole, then Saturday AM beats it out just because I don't really. I mean, there are things to like in seasons 1 and 2 of X, but they're not. It's bogged down by a lot of like, oh no, the appliance in Chris's house have turned evil and we have to fight them.
Right.
But yeah, so
look, man, it's the only, Sonic X has Shadow crying over a dead child in the middle of a war zone who does a kamikaze bomb into a bunch of aliens, and it also has Shadow trying to assassinate another little girl. So, like, at that point, you can't get any cooler.
I would just like to say that the views of IanWaffles do not represent the views of the Silver Ace 01 channel.
They reflect the views of Shadow. He tried to do it. I don't understand.
well, you know.
Anyway, yeah, we'll let people who haven't seen the show be like, what are they talking about? I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, nah, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, let's leave it at that. But speaking
of which, how do you think what kind of characters do you think are going to be in the show? Do you think they're going to acknowledge a character like Blaze or even Silver, or do you think they're going to keep it strictly classic because that's what we're doing right now? Or, how do you think this is going to go?
You know what, Ian? You and I must have like a psychic connection because that's actually the next point in my notes. So, essentially, I was thinking about this, right, in my car ride to school. Was this yesterday or the day before that I sent this to you? I can't remember. It was yesterday, right?
I don't know. I'm not you, even though we have this psychic connection.
No, when I sent you the thing, I sent it to you the same day I had the idea.
Yeah, I think that was 2 days ago.
Okay, so I was thinking like, so I've actually been listening through Sega Scourge's Sonic What If, and I was thinking like, and they were doing a Silver episode, and I was thinking like, oh man, how are they going to do Silver in Sonic Prime? Because obviously, I desperately want Silver to be in Sonic Prime.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, well, how would you do that? And the first idea I had was like, well, you could have Silver kind of be like Sonic's guide through the multiverse.
I was going to say the same thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, because like given Silver's like powers and kind of his whole character thing, you could very easily do that, and it wouldn't be like super out of place. And then there's like another consistent character for Sonic to like bounce off of.
Oh, that would be great. That would be so cute because if it's the Silver like the way he's written nowadays, where he's kind of like a naive guy or whatever, or if Sonic is the naive guy in this one, then Silver being like the kind of more like experienced, that would be really cool,
Yeah. Well, either you could do that, or you could do like again like they're they have contrasting personalities. So Silver's a bit more timid. He's a bit more not sure of himself, whereas Sonic is Can you do the whoa noise again?
He's like, whoa, Silver, you gotta understand, buddy. You got psychic powers and I've got feet. What else can we do? Whoa. And then he goes, wow, Sonic, when you say stupid things like that, I almost want to believe you. And he's like, that's the spirit.
You didn't want to attempt a Silver impression?
My Silver impression is Sonic, we gotta do what we can. Blah. There you go. That's my Silver impression.
I will say I've done Silver's voice before, and it destroys your throat if you do it.
And I am amazing at it.
It wasn't bad, actually.
Nice.
I've definitely heard worse.
Like yours, Ian, which I wouldn't blame you.
That sounded like a really backhanded compliment. It was not meant to be.
No, I think it's funnier if it is.
But so yeah, obviously, Silver being like, this other character who's kind of Sonic's guide to the multiverse, I would love that for obvious reasons. I mean, look at the name of my channel. I have a Silver the Hedgehog Funko Pop within arm's reach. Like, I'm very predictable. But
no, but it would make a lot of sense. Like, it's not just I think Silver, out of any character who like is kind of extraneous from like the core, what you would consider the core cast of like the modern era, I think if there's any character that you would want to pull from, it's him. Like, why wouldn't you? And if you wanted to add the little world building or cool things, if you want to keep Silver's new guy personality, and if you also want to have Sonic kind of be like that too, you could have it be like Sonic created like a minor infraction in the multiverse in that he shouldn't be here, and Silver's like the junior cop, and so it's like, all right, you have to go in and fix that. He's like, hey, so I'm like a newbie in the zone police, here to take it home.
That'd be so cool.
Darn so then they can both mean newbies.
I'm genuinely a bit like sad that this isn't going to happen because like this,
that everything we talk about is just not going to happen.
Yeah, because this idea sounds so cool, but yeah. So, but like, if we're being honest, no, since that Silver is not going to be his guide through the multiverse. If I had to guess, we see Sonic has like high tech like shoes and gloves, which actually change. Like in this the piece with Amy, they're like camouflage. If I had to guess, I would say that he gets like in like the first episode, he gets like some sort of like high tech dimension traveling shoes, and then that's how he's able to like travel through the multiverse.
I would say he'll probably get it from a good Robotnik, like a cool Robotnik type who maybe like makes them for him. Oh. That would be a cool idea. Because I feel like they would want to lean in on the alternate reality versions of characters immediately. And so how cool would it be if, his first helper is like a Robotnik or an Eggman?
I will... Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. That's it.
I will say one thing that sucks is that there's never going to be a better good Robotnik design than in the Zone Wars, where he had like the white coat with the red on it. I don't know why, but I really like that look for Robotnik. Or Kintobor, as he was called in that universe.
Maybe this like homeless Robotnik we see in the concept art, maybe he'll team up with him. We'll be like, I can't sell any of my cool shoes.
Yeah, and then you have this weird Gerald looking one behind him, who I actually have a little theory about him, but we'll get into that later.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so
do you think Shadow will show up?
Well, let's get into that actually, because again, Ian, you continue to read my mind. So,
whoa.
Dang it, dude.
The audience is going to be so annoyed. They'll be like, it's not that funny. Stop laughing.
My audience is annoyed with me anyway. It's fine. But,
okay.
So, you didn't have to agree with me. But,
I'm part of your audience. I like you.
Oh, thanks, man. But so, I was thinking, right? I was like, so how do you do Silver? Because they're not going to do the multiverse guide thing. Like, as much as I would like to do, that's not going to happen. So how are they going to do Silver? And also, how are they going to do Shadow? And I had an idea that a lot of people are not going to like.
Okay.
But if you hear me out and you don't leave an angry comment until after I finish the idea, I think it could work. What if Silver and Shadow in this show are alternate universe Sonics?
Okay.
So now, obviously, what I mean by that is not like they would literally be like named Sonic. I mean, kind of they be alternate universe Sonics in the sense that like Blaze is an alternate universe. I was
just about to say Blaze, right?
Yeah, like so essentially. Silver and Shadow, as we know them, don't exist in Sonic's universe, in the Prime universe, if you will. Silver and Shadow are from the multiverse.
Right.
So
it's like the equivalent is like Shadow is Sonic's equivalent in his world, and then like Tails is the equivalent to Maria, where he makes guns. She got shot by one. I get you. I'm seeing where you're going with this. He thought I was going to give a real answer.
I really did. But so, holy cow. What, so essentially I was thinking, because initially I was like, well, what if they do with Silver what they do with like a Spider-Man 2099 sometimes?
Yeah.
Because they play fast and loose with like, sometimes Spider-Man 2099 is from the future, and sometimes he's from an alternate reality that just happens to be in the future. So I was like, what if they just do that with Silver? And he's like, essentially it's like similar, like he fills Sonic's role in this like futuristic world, which I imagine it being kind of like, have you ever played the game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions?
No.
Shit. Okay. Well, okay. So you do know who Spider-Man 2099 is, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure what I just said was not.
He was in the end credits scene of Spider-Verse.
Yes. Well, essentially for 2099's levels in that game, there's like this super like futuristic version of New York, which is like all bright and colorful, has like flying cars and stuff.
Okay.
So I'd imagine you do something like that for Silver's future, and you say he's fighting like Eggman Nega or something. And what I think you could do with like Silver's character arc is that he's again he's kind of more timid, more like he's not super sure of himself, and so Sonic, we don't know this, but like if we're assuming he has like a problem where he's too sure of himself, him and Silver realize that like they need to find a balance between the two extremes which each of them are at.
Okay.
So coming back to this, if we're assuming that like the villains for the show are going to mostly be like alternate universe Robotniks, what if in Shadow's multiverse the version of Robotnik isn't Ivo, it's Gerald?
Yeah, it's Gerald.
So essentially, now there are a couple things you could do with this. You could be like, you could say Shadow is like rebelling against him, or what I thought you would probably do is you would say that like, essentially the events of SA2 played out more or less as we know them. He made Shadow, Maria gets capped, but instead of Gerald being executed, he escapes. He takes Shadow with him, and he builds like this robot army, and Shadow becomes like his like general, and he's kind of like his right hand dude.
Yeah,
and so
that's cool.
And so, train of thought, come back. So Sonic shows up, and it's kind of similar to SA2, where like him and Shadow clash at first, and either Sonic jogs Shadow's memories, or I thought maybe you could have like a video diary that Maria leaves for Shadow or something. Which reminds him to be like not a bad person. And so then you could have Silver and Shadow. You could have them in the show and have it make sense in the context of the show without having to do like a bunch of like backwards bending over backwards to accommodate them.
Yeah, and also you can explain their backstories without it being redundant to the fact of like, this is all this interesting stuff that happened with these characters. Now on to the show. Instead, you actually get to integrate it into the current narrative.
Yeah,
where Sonic's like learning about these things.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who would be like, oh, are you saying that that Silver and Shadow are just Sonic but different? Silver and Shadow are their own unique characters, and you're an idiot. And it's like, by the way, comments, I know you don't sound like that. I'm making a point. And while I would agree, Silver and Shadow are their own unique characters. Again, I love both of them very much. Their designs, when you look at them, are meant to invoke, hey, it's Sonic, but not. Like,
I think it's funny that you're like, it's like, are you saying that you want them to be their own unique characters? Like, yeah, like they always are. Duh.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like if people complained about that, like I feel like it would just be splitting hairs in the sense of like, this isn't the normal context it's under. It's like, yeah, but Sonic's never in the context it's supposed to be. It changes every time. So just all you're doing is just relocating where these characters would go as far as the multiverse. And I think what you're kind of in adding to that is that a lot of the Sonic characters, they have their kind of personality gimmick, but what makes Silver and Shadow so hard to fit into current contexts is that you have like, you can't have Sonic colors where Sonic's doing his little adventure, and then you have Shadow off in the corner. It's like, yeah, I was hanging out with Maria and she was shot by government agents and I helped save the universe and I might have been an android at some point. It's like, it doesn't match in terms of like, how do you integrate this person into the story? And like his whole character is about like protecting the planet he lives on for the dying wish of his friends. So like what you're basically just asking for is to re-implement that really interesting character and fit it into the story. Whereas instead, if they were just Sonic's friends, then it kind of devalues a lot of the interesting things about them, and it doesn't allow it to get explored because the story isn't about Shadow or Silver's stories. But if it's about the multiverse and they are therefore extensions of that multiverse, then their stories do become intertwined with Sonic. So what you're asking for is, I think it would be the best option to use them.
Yeah. And by the way, this was the idea that I messaged you about that I wanted to put out there.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So
he's slowly getting past it. He didn't break down that time. He's getting stronger.
I am. But I Do I think that's going to happen? Almost certainly not. But
Yeah.
but it'd be cool. And then you could do like a cool scene at the end where like, everyone comes together and you have, like Silver and Sonic and Shadow who like were meant to be like a trio, but then 06 failed, so they immediately stopped making them a trio.
You have a reason they can all be super.
Yeah,
like they're all like the same, they're the same position in all their universe. They're a chaos entity.
Yeah. But so I had one last thing I was going to say on that, and then I forgot what it was. So maybe we'll come back to it when I remember it, or maybe we won't. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. If you want to get your female character in, hey, I'd be cool with bringing along Blaze. Let's make her another alternate universe character, which she already is. So I would love Blaze to be in the story if at all possible. She's just so unique and cool.
Okay, so would your idea essentially just be like, it's just Blaze? Like, she's just the princess of the Soul Kingdom?
Just do Blaze and have her be in a modern piece of media, please. Thank you.
I am 100% okay with that.
Yeah. And if you want to play on the heartstrings of Silver fans, you can have her like form a friendship with him or whatever.
Please.
But then it would get really weird because it's like, oh, you're me from alternate reality, and then we'd have to have the Loki conversation again.
Well, look, if the MCU, a multi-billion-dollar franchise, can do it and get away with it, then I'm sure Sonic can too.
I thought you were gonna be like, then Sonic has no chance, my friend.
Look, shippers find a way. Anyway,
indeed. The pirate ship of Knuckles will find a way.
So I forgot to write this down, but it was something I was going to ask, and I'm gonna ask it now. So we talked about Silver and Shadow and even Blaze being potential alternate versions of Sonic. What are some like alternate Sonics you would like to see? Because I think they mentioned that we are going to see at least a couple alternate versions of like Sonic himself.
Yeah. I would like a Sonic who, I guess it would be kind of like the Peter B. Parker type of like Spider-Verse, where it's like a Sonic that is like just a slight smidge off of our main Sonic, and maybe like something's changed where he's become like a bit different. That way Sonic could have like immediate reflection. That would be kind of cool. Although you could also get that out of Silver and Shadow in more creative ways. So I think what I would maybe more like is maybe a Sonic that, I'm trying to think. I know it would sound goofy, but it would be kind of cool to have a Sonic who, if roboticization is a thing, is roboticized, but has his free will. So he's like even stronger and he can fly around and he has like jet boosters or whatever. I guess if we're repurposing characters, you could make Metal Sonic that. Yeah.
I'm not trying to see like, well, actually I thought of that, but that was another thought I had.
Maybe that's what I would rather this kind of story be, is that we're using the multiverse as a way to allow for all these characters who have all these kind of bigger, that have these stories that were meant to be told in their one story and never again, which makes them unusable. Try to fit them into this story and make it to where that they are extensions of different Sonics and stuff. And I think that would be cool. A cool way to do it. Like Metal Sonic, he's not just a henchman, like he's his own different character. I think that would be really cool. And if you want, you could mix and match different other characters. Like maybe Mighty is the Knuckles equivalent in Shadow's world, because they're the strong characters. And then, like stuff like that. Or the Chaotix could be, you could have the Chaotix be Silver's friends in the fact that they are supposed to represent Tails, Knuckles, and I guess Amy, for SP or whatever. That'd just be kind of cool to repurpose all these characters. That way it's not just Sonic and his conga line, like all these characters can instead actually have dynamics and friendships with a core tenet of the story, which would be Silver, Shadow, and Sonic. And then therefore they can actually be in the spotlight instead of just like, I don't know what Vector's going to say to Sonic, like, So I think that would be what I'd really like to get out of the multiverse, is just repurpose all these characters in a way to where they can actually do anything, and have different weight to them, rather than just being like, this is the Chaotix Detective Agency. They sure do exist.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Chaotix, because like I feel like if they don't have the Chaotix episode be like a noir, like black and white, like 1920s thing, then they failed miserably.
It would be really funny if Vector's actually like they're from the noir verse, like you're saying, but like Vector is actually the Sonic of that world, but he's just a complete failure. Like we just take total liberties with this idea of parallel universe and just say that Vector is a Sonic of his world, but he's just a loser.
Yeah. Oh, but so it's funny you brought up the Peter B. Parker thing because I remember I was actually thinking a while back about Roger Craig Smith as voicing Sonic, and I was thinking about it was mainly I think it was when I watched Rise of the Wisps because I've been vocal on this channel. I'm not the biggest fan of his interpretation. I've warmed up to it slightly in the past like months, but I think if Roger were to do a version of Sonic that were like the Peter B. Parker of Sonic, I think his voice would fit that super well.
Yeah,
because like I remember the first time I saw the trailer for Into the Spider-Verse, and I heard what's his name, Jake Johnson, I think is the guy who plays Peter B. Parker. I remember being like, he doesn't sound like Spider-Man. Why didn't they get like Josh Keaton or Christopher Daniel Barnes? But like when you actually watch the movie, you realize like, oh no, his voice fits for that version of Spider-Man. Whereas like voice actors who generally I'd prefer for Spider-Man don't fit that version of Spider-Man. So yeah, I feel like an older, like kind of washed up Sonic, that would be cool. Honestly, I would like to see a younger Sonic.
Okay.
And I know when I say that, one's primal rage is unlocked because they think of like classic Sonic. But first of all, if I honestly, if they go to a universe where it's just the past but not the past, it's the past but it's a multiverse, and it's classic Sonic, as long as he like talks and has a personality that isn't just whatever Forces was trying to do, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Again, I brought this up in one of our other discussions, but for anyone who's seen Ben 10, there's an episode called The Forge of Creation, where the 16-year-old Ben and the 10-year-old Ben meet, and you kind of get to see like how far he's come, and you see the two of them clash because the older Ben has become a little more serious, whereas the younger one is still more brash and impulsive. And I think if you did something like that with like Sonic and classic Sonic, I think that'd be super interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be really fun. And yeah, there's just a lot of possibilities with this multiverse thing that I really hope they take advantage of and kind of get their money's worth if you're going to do it.
Could you say there's endless possibilities?
They're never ending. So yes. I think that also what I would really like to see is like, how are they going to do the 3D animation? Because with 3D animation, you have so much more extra things you can do with the directing. And I really just don't want this show to look boring. Like, please do something creative with the color palette. Do like really distinct looking worlds and like crazy camera angles. Like, it's 3D, guys. You can do so much. I just hope they stylize it. Like, I really hope they don't just go, okay, it's, a different model of, his normal model. Good. Like, it needs to be very expressive, which he just hasn't been in a long time.
Okay, Ian, animation was the next thing, so I'm going to stop you right there because I had one more point I wanted to make on alternate Sonics.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to be rude. But,
sorry, I was reading your mind again, so I was, I was reading the script. I was a little head.
yeah. You did what I'm going to go on another minor tangent. I might cut this out in the future. So when I was in second grade, I would read ahead, and my teacher would get mad at me for it. But it's like, you're literally discouraging me from reading, which is the opposite of your job as a teacher.
You're just mad because I'm faster than you, and I'm cool, and I'm a second grader who can read good.
Yeah, like I remember there was one time I was reading ahead, and they were like, "Why is this girl upset?" And I was like, she's upset because she's older and she's being forced to sit with the younger kids." And they were like, "Well, we don't know that she's older yet. Why do you know that she's older? You didn't read ahead, did you?" And I was like, "No." God. Anyway,
I'm psychic, like my hero Silver, and she goes, "Oh, I get it."
Did Silver
carry on?
Yeah. Anyways, Sorry. You know what? I'm not going to edit that out, but whatever. The point is, so evil Sonic. Do you think they go there, or do you think they don't touch that with a 10-foot pole?
Since they're not going to do our cool idea with Shadow, where Shadow would be the nuanced, interesting version of an evil Sonic, where he's not blatantly evil, but he's gone down a darker path, and that would be something good to explore. Because they're going to make it probably not cool or good, yes, they totally will make an evil Sonic. You bet you bet they will.
Okay, well then, yeah, well, because the only
they have to. Why?
Well, okay. So, do you think that the twist villain at the end of all this? Do you think that? So we're seeing Robotniks, right? We're seeing all these evil Robotniks. Do you think they're a misdirect? And do you think that the actual mastermind behind all this? Are you?
Yes, I do. It is Scourge, and I will stab my brain out. And he's gonna have stupid glasses and a tuxedo. He's gonna be like, "You posh little stupid rodent." Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
You're like, I mean, I was gonna say it would be pretty cool, but you know.
Well, okay. How about let's make it cool? Because I had another idea in the last 10 seconds.
Nice.
Actually, 10 seconds before I died of laughter. But so
I was gonna say you're very good at keeping your brain in motion.
Yeah, I'm very much not. But
you're very smart.
Of course. But so what if you mentioned Metal Sonic being an alternate version of Sonic?
Yeah.
What if the final villain turns out to be a version of Sonic who was defeated by Robotnik and roboticized, but he was able to overcome it and defeat Robotnik, and he takes over the Empire. And so maybe you could even do a Sonic Heroes thing where he's actually posing as a Robotnik, but then when Sonic, clears all the other levels and he gets to the final fortress, he's like, actually, it was me all along. Or should I say, it was you all along.
It was you all along. And then Shadow goes, but I thought it was me all along when I saw my Shadow androids laying on the ground like that. Sorry, that was just trash disposal, like your character. Anyway, and then Sonic and him duke it out, and it'd be really cool. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe it's like one of those things where it's like, you're fighting Robotnik, and that's super cool that you're trying to, defeat all the Robotniks. But what's not cool is that you're trying to kill me as well, and I like living. So
yeah, well,
he's gone too far.
We find out the reason Metal Sonic is assembling all these alternate Robotniks is because he's actually trying to screw them over. But then he's also evil, so then Sonic has to stop him.
Yeah, that could be cool. And just because they want to be jerks about it, they let him be played by Jaleel White.
That'd be amazing.
And he's sad AM Sonic, and he's like, when I was thinking about it, I didn't really think you guys were that cool. And then, he's giving his evil speeches in that voice.
Dude, that's a Sonic Theory video that I would say someone would make, but I'd probably...
you're going to be like, that I'm gonna make.
Yeah, where, is the Metal Sonic we see at the end of Sonic Prime actually Sonic from Sad AM? And you got, a red circle and a bunch of arrows pointing towards...
A bunch of arrows. And it's the picture of Ixis Nagas's eyes from the end of season 2.
Yeah. Man, I remember I was really convinced that was Metal Sonic, and then it was not.
Sad face.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I mean, I love how I was building up, so behind all these evil Robotniks, do you think maybe there's an evil Sonic? And before I could even finish, you were like, yes, God, but
but please, no.
I think
it could be cool. I'm just thinking of the worst case scenario where they make it not cool and they give him a leather jacket and call him Evil Sonic.
Yeah, depending on how they do it, it can either be really cool or really dumb.
Yeah, of course. I guess to me, I'm thinking of let's say this turns out to be just they just do a wacky thing every episode. It's not that creative, and they're like, what if the villain was evil Sonic. And you're like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that with my first using brain cell to watch this stupid show. Oh my gosh, you genius writers. Oh, all hail Shadow, am I right? But not Shadow, freaking Sonic. That kind of thing. But you know, if they're good writers, which I don't know why I'm hammering down on them so hard. This is what Sonic Forces has done to me. It just made me like just afraid of every single thing Sonic has made. So I have to attack it first before it hurts me. So, but if, you know, it could easily be good.
So what I'm hearing is we need to have another one of these discussions before Rangers comes out, so you can have another cathartic whatever this is.
He's in a forest, guys. Be excited.
I am excited.
I love forests.
Look, I'm very easy to please.
I love cryptic imagery.
Dude, I have not seen this. I have not seen this side of you before, Ian. The last couple discussions we've had, you've been very positive.
You've been very pleasant and kind, but now you're a monster. I don't know why, but I like it.
It is very entertaining.
Nah, but I mean, it could very well be good. With the evil Sonic thing, there's obviously just a lot of ways you could do it. The only way, if they do an evil Sonic, I would definitely want them to, one, not say evil Sonic ever out of their mouths, and two, I would want them to definitely make it more nuanced.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Ian. What if it's not evil Sonic? What if it's dark Sonic?
With dark spines, Sonic?
Well, I mean. No.
Dude, one of the Sonics, if they're gonna pull from the video games, they have to just have a Sonic come out and he just has a weird looking glove and they're like, oh, so what's your name? You know, what about you, Sonic's like, oh, I'm not Sonic, I'm King Arthur. And then everyone just pushes him back through the portal.
Dude, I'd be so down with that.
And they just call him King for the rest of the series.
Yes,
he's just
King,
Sonic with the Excalibur, and he becomes Excalibur Sonic at the end.
Dude, you have no idea how okay I would be with that.
I would be too. I mean,
Excalibur Sonic is objectively Sonic's best super form.
Best super formed in existence with the best transformation. With the butt cape. It's incredible.
It is. But so what if the evil Sonic we see at the end of Sonic Prime? Yeah. I love how now we're just taking for granted the fact that the final villain is going to be an evil Sonic. What if he is a version of Sonic that absorbed the negative energy of the emeralds and became like Dark Sonic, like we know him?
He became Thunder, Rain, and Lightning. That would be amazing.
Water Rising.
Yeah, but, indeed. Dude, here's the thing. That would be cool because that's an idea from SA1 that, you know, we just kind of never used before. Or since, I mean, like the idea of like, oh, you can take the positive and the negative energy of chaos. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's. I'm glad I had that idea. We're moving to the next point, which is, as you already talked about, animation. I know personally, I usually prefer 2D animation. You watch a lot of anime. I assume you're in a similar boat.
Yeah, I like 2D animation.
3D animation can work, but like the best 3D animation is objectively Into the Spider-Verse, which adopts a lot of stuff from 2D animation. So
yeah, I think you just got to be stylistic about it. You know, it's Sonic. Yeah. Like I want to see cool shots and cool angles of like things that don't make sense in context, but it looks cool for the shot. Like, you know, like you can use his speed in so many interesting ways. Like, do it.
Yeah. Well, because obviously Man of Action and Wild Brain, they did another 3D show about a video game character, Mega Man Fully Charged, which was 3D animated. But I will say that was done for like network television, whereas this is Netflix. So I hope there's at least a little more money behind it. Honestly, first of all, you know, if the story's good, I can forgive like somewhat subpar animation. But I don't know if you agree with that sentiment. But
yeah, I can, just so long as it's not an eyesore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, that's honestly the issue I have like a lot of like quote unquote adult cartoons is that they're just so ugly. But,
really, I just need it to be expressive in the characters. If you can do that for me, then I'm fine. And it's Sonic, like they have to move around, you know.
Yeah, I would say
you can make so as long as you make Sonic doing stuff look cool and make his expressions, which he has big eyes, it shouldn't be that hard. Just making him very expressive, then I'm pretty good with everything else.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, like this concept art we see is like very expressive, very colorful, very vibrant. But again, it's concept art.
Yeah, you can't really go
So
off it at all. Like if you were to look
so
at the Incredibles concept art, you'd be like, so it's going to be like a blocky movie. Where are their faces?
or if you were to look at the Sonic Forces concept art, you'd be like, wow, this looks like a really
This is
cool
going to be
game.
amazing.
Uh,
And then none of it's in the game.
I like Sonic Forces, but anyway,
No biggie.
but I would say as long as it's like maybe like a notch above Boom, because like Boom didn't have like terrible animation in it. If anything, in certain places it was quite good. As long as it was like maybe not like at there, but like again like a notch or so above it, I think I'd be okay with that.
I just need good backgrounds, dang it. Like, just don't live on a boring beach with boring trees. Like, you're in a multiverse. Make sure, like, when we go to the caveman world that it's not just like, whoa, it's like rocks and trees. Like, make the architecture weird, put weird creatures there. Like, do anything creative, please.
I didn't even think about that, but that's an interesting point you bring up, is that so obviously like CG modeling for like stuff is more difficult like point for point than traditional animation, but the reason that they do it is so they can economize on assets and use them later. But in a show like this where they're switching settings every episode, that maybe
get creative.
Yeah, like I wonder, would it have actually been easier to do this with traditional animation?
I mean, with traditional animation, it would probably be worse because remember, like, unless you're going to be lazy or, don't have the time, you have to create a new background for every shot and every camera angle. Whereas,
That's
like,
true.
in 3D animation, you just make the box and then turn the camera where you need it to.
That's true. That's fair. But, like, yeah, because I was thinking, like, you brought up, like, Sonic Boom, how they're on the beach all the time. It's like, yeah, well, the reason is because, like, they built that one asset, and so they're going to use it. They're going to get their money's worth out of it. But, again, we're going to be seemingly going to be changing settings a lot here. But, again, what you said makes sense. But yeah, that's I don't know a lot about like the ins and outs of animation and like the technicals of it, so I can't really speak too much on it. Just I hope it looks pretty.
I just hope it doesn't detract from anything. Like that's all I really ask for is just make sure that when the characters are doing anything, like as far as like being a character, like Sonic emoting or whatever, just make sure he's emoting. That's really all I ask for in the end. Like even if you don't have cool action direction or it looks kind of cheap there, as long as I can connect to the characters, like I'm willing to swallow anything else really. As long as as long as I can connect to the characters.
Yeah.
And character expression is a big part of that. So
yeah, as long as the animation isn't like distracting, which I feel like it being CG might actually help with that because like. The problem with a lot of like modern 2D animation is that they're incorporating more computer elements, which it mixes like water and oil. Did you see Invincible?
Yeah.
There were so many shots, and that show is great. It's written very well, but like in the final battle between Mark and another character who I won't say because it's a spoiler, like there's like CG models of people in the background, and they're like moving at a different frame rate, and it's really distracting.
Yeah, just don't be distracting to where like it takes away from my enjoyment. That's all I really ask for. I don't need it to be super crazy. Just don't look boring, please.
Yeah, and I made another note. It's not really like a big one since I'm not really super knowledgeable on this. I just put voice actors. I remember
Have them.
well, yes, please. Colleen O'Shaughnessy said that like she can't be Tails because she's not Canadian. So I meant to look this up prior to us doing this, but I guess that's a thing that you can't be a voice actor in a Canadian production if you're not Canadian. Sure.
Intriguing.
So I guess for Sonic, is there like any? Well, let me put it this way, Ian. Because I've never asked you this. Who is your favorite voice for Sonic?
Definitely Jason at his peak. I think that I consistently enjoy Drummond more in terms of all the performances he's given. He just has a natural good Sonic voice for the games. But Jason's my favorite.
Okay.
When he reaches Unleashed and Black Knight, that's my guy. So it's Jason and then Ryan.
Same, but so I guess for like, what do you want Sonic to like sound like in this show? Like,
I mean, preferably, I think that I would probably go for something like Ryan Drummond, just because I think his laid back attitude would, like, if you're gonna kind of have a more joyful Sonic, like, I would rather him be laid back than silly, I guess, if that makes sense. And so I really do just like kind of this idea of like he's like a slacker hero. And he just kind of walks around and he's just like, yeah, well, what are we gonna do? And he just kind of has fun. But Jason would be the kind of thing I would go for the serious moments where he can really just kind of like hone in on whatever he's talking about, and it doesn't sound like a caricature voice, if that makes sense. Whereas something like Roger, it really does feel like he's doing a voice. And I would also say that Ryan Drummond sounds like he's doing a voice. But when Jason is like really good at Sonic, I feel like it just is Sonic's voice instead of being like a caricature. So I would say more for like in the tone, I want it to be Ryan. In terms of the actual like performance, I would prefer something more personable like Jason, if that makes sense. And I know that's going to sound weird because, again, for most of Jason's career, he is the, whoa, it's me, Sonic, gotta go fast, ha ha ha. Even though he doesn't ever say that, but that kind of voice, like it was like a caricature voice. But when he really mellowed out and got the voice down, it was really good. So I would really love something like that.
Yeah, I looked it up really quick. I didn't know what I was under the impression Ben Schwartz was Canadian.
Okay.
He's not. So
curses.
I was gonna because my thing was like, well, if he was Canadian, I mean, he's not. He does a lot of like cartoons and stuff, so he's not out of their pay grade, and it would make good brand synergy. But again, he's not, so that would kind of kill that right there. Maybe it's because the first Sonic movie shot in like Montreal. Maybe that's why I thought he was Canadian. I don't know. But
here's what we do: we just let them make their stupid show with their stupid Canadian voice actors, and then we just do an English dub with like actual variety of people who can do a job instead of where you're from. Duh. You live right above us. Freaking share your toys. It's fine. Big babies. Anyway. So if that's real.
What I love is that you said English voice actors.
Yeah, I know. Because they're Canadian. They're the Canadians voice actors. Yeah, whatever. So the rest of us English-speaking people, I guess.
Well, okay. So I will say, I remember I saw Roger Cricksmith got in a little Twitter spat with a fan, and the fan was like, "Oh, well, you don't even get to be Sonic and Sonic Prime." And I would look for it, but I won't. He said something to the effect of like, "You have no idea what you're talking about." So maybe Roger's in it.
And then that fan was like, "Is that a threat or a promise?"
I will say, in my opinion, no one came out of that little spiff looking good, but I'm not getting into that right now. But so I feel like if you asked me like 6 months ago, like, hey, what if Roger was the voice of Sonic and Sonic Prime? I would have been like, God, no. But like, honestly, if you just give him a good script and good voice direction, whatever, I'm sure he could do fine. Like,
yeah, I don't really have a preference for Sonic's voice anymore, as long as he just has emotion that isn't a caricature. That's really all I ask for. Like, for all the characters. Like, the reason I can't take Shadow's voice seriously at all, or like even see him as Shadow, is because he's a vampire. So like, I just can't do it.
Really, you don't like his weird discount Wolverine voice that he's doing?
No. My heart.
I will say, I don't have too terribly much of a problem with Kirk Thornton, except for in Boom. Like, in Boom, it feels like he, like, dials it up to, like, 11, and it's not good.
Well, and like, that's not even to say that Jason didn't do like an over-the-top Shadow voice. I just like that one better. That's why I always think that, what's-his-face from SA2 and Heroes, who played Shadow, like, he's the best one, because he just sounds like a person.
Yeah. But, another thing, so Sonic is just make him sound like a person, I guess, was the consensus we reached.
At least for me. Yeah. Just don't make him sound like a whoa. I'm over it.
There wasn't as much energy in that one.
I'm over it at this point. Just give him some humanity in his voice. That's all I ask for.
For Eggman, I would actually like if you could give him like a little more like gruff in his voice. Like he doesn't have to
Yeah, I
sound
agree.
he doesn't have to sound exactly like Jim Cummings, but like have you read any of Archie Sonic Online?
Yeah, I've read some of it.
Did you did you see the little like animated trailer they put out for one of their issues?
No.
Okay, in that they have a Robotnik voice actor who sounds kind of like more gruff and like I won't say robotic, but he's more if the spectrum is like Mike Pollock to Jim Cummings, he's more on the Jim Cummings side.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind if they did something like that. Well, not I wouldn't mind. I would prefer if they did something like that, just because while I like Mike Pollock as Eggman, I have no issue with him as Eggman. And train of thought, come back. Like I would like to hear like someone else give like kind of a different interpretation of Eggman, just because especially like whenever because I sometimes read like my older comics to my sister like before bedtime.
Yeah.
Whenever I read Eggman, I always give him like the kind of Jim Cummings like because that's what Eggman sounds like to me. So like it would be cool to hear like another version that sounds kind of more similar to that.
Yeah, or just go back to the way he kind of was in Unleashed, where he did have more of a gruffness to it. It's just that he's gotten more high pitched as the series has gone on.
Yeah.
Whereas before he was a little more, he was a little more close to Dean Bristow and stuff. Yeah, so I agree. Make it a little more serious. Like I don't want it to be like as high pitched as he kind of does it nowadays, where it is more like silly,
Yeah, and then
And hey, if you're gonna have alternate realities, I don't know, just get Jim Cummings to do one of them.
that would be. I would. Yeah, he's not Canadian though. I don't think.
Gosh, he can be in the English dub. See, someone's gonna be like, that was like a fake article, you two idiots. What are you talking about?
Yeah, someone's absolutely gonna. You know what? I'm gonna look it up right now, just so we're. I mean, I won't edit it to be like. I feel like we're gonna look this up right now.
And then it's gonna be like, no, stupid, that was fake.
Canadian voice actor law.
Why no, only so many Canadian voices, no, okay, well, I'm not seeing a specific law, so we very well might be idiots.
Heck yeah.
But it could be, I will say, because it wasn't like Colleen only said this once, she said this multiple times, like, no, I can't do it, I'm not Canadian, so maybe it's like specifically a Man of Action Wild Brain thing.
Oh.
Because now that, wait, is Yuri Lowenthal Canadian? Because he voices Ben 10.
Yuri Lowenthal.
He's an American voice actor. Traitor.
So, well then. Oh man, I really hope I haven't just been spewing bullshit for the past 30 minutes.
Don't worry. We've been bouncing off it pretty okay, I think, making it silly. So.
I will say, I mean, you know what? It was worth it to hear your rant about it. But so I mean, with that's all the notes I had jotted down.
Well, we got an hour 30 out of it, so I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So I guess, are you looking forward to Sonic Prime, or are you not?
Yeah, I am. I think I'm looking forward to it in the sense of I want to see more of what it's going to be. So I guess it's just more of I'm looking forward to learning about it rather than looking forward to the show itself, because we know literally nothing. Like, we spent this entire hour just speculating on cool ideas based on nothing because we don't have anything. So
yeah,
so I'm definitely looking forward to learning about it.
Yeah, I will say I feel like this has just been us setting ourselves up for disappointment.
Heck yeah. You should title it that. You should title it Setting Up for Disappointment. Sonic Prime Theory Crafting.
I don't know what I'm going to title this. I think what I might do, because I've been meaning to do this with the other two discussions, and I haven't gotten around to it, but I will at some point, is I'm going to upload the whole thing, and then I'm going to upload like smaller, like bite-sized, like the Silver and Shadow thing that we talked about. I definitely want to make into its own like bite-sized like snippet as well.
Yeah.
Just because very few people are going to make it to that point.
Yeah.
But so, Yeah, I'll probably just title it like Sonic Prime, like pre-trailer speculation discussion. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. I hope the show's as funny as we are. You know, we're a laugh and a half.
Oh yeah,
So great. So, if the show can at least live up to our own quality, it'll be decent.
Yeah. I mean, if it can be,
log off. I hate these two.
I'll say if it can be even half as funny as us, I will.
Yeah, as we are, then I mean that's a pretty good show. I'd say
that's a monumental achievement.
Might even be a classic. So
yeah.
Anyway, I don't have anything else to say about this. If you want to give any final thoughts, you can. But yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about it, and I hope it's a great show.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. I'm not so much excited for the show itself. I'm excited to see more from it. Because again, we don't really know anything. Like, as I said, we can speculate some things from the concept art, but again, the show's 24 episodes, and a lot of this concept art even looks like it's from episode 1. So, like, so yeah. Before I sign off, actually, I want to give a little state of affairs about my channel. Just because this is like the only place I can do it. Regarding the IDW Sonic reviews, some people might be wondering where those went, and honestly, guys, the truth of the matter is, I cannot be bothered to care about those anymore. Like they're very boring to me. Like I went back and listened to like the first issue of like Chow Races and Badnik Bases, and it sounded like if a corpse could talk. That's how I sound in that video.
That's with me.
Yeah. So, and honestly, like I'm a busy guy. Like if I want to make a YouTube video, it has to be something I genuinely want to make. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to motivate myself to do it. So that's not to say that I will never touch on IDW Sonic again. I might go back and I might do like I might just cover the arcs. I might be like, what did we miss? But for now, it's just they started to feel more like an obligation. And, obviously, if they feel like an obligation, if I'm not having fun, I'm not making fun content, and then no one's having fun. But
yeah. And you're more looking forward to you're kind of expanding your content to still be about Sonic, but you're doing kind of more unique things like music reviews or analysis.
Yeah. And I have another project, which, Ian, I've told you about, but that's hopefully going to be underway sometime in 2022. But, so yeah. Outside of that, Ian, you want to plug your channel before we get going?
Yeah, once again, IanWaffles on YouTube. If you're interested in Kingdom Hearts, I currently made a Kingdom Hearts analysis video about how it uses Disney and Final Fantasy in its story, since that's kind of it's a main facet of that series. And I'm making one about KH2 currently. So if any of that interests you, or just anime character analysis in general, you can check that out. But I don't upload that much at all. So, hey, don't subscribe to me. I don't care. I'm not your dad. So, have a great day.
I mean, I don't upload that much either. If you're on this channel, I assume you know that. But yeah. So outro. You're on my channel. You know what I do. Episode 2 of Sonic Songs Deconstructed should be coming out sometime. No, you know what? If you've made it this far into the video, you deserve to know what it's about. Episode 2 of Sonic Songs Deconstructed will be on Throw It All Away from Sonic Adventure 2. So if you like that song and you want to hear me, comb through it and dissect it, that should be cool. Thank you all for watching. Again, go check out Ian's channel. It will be linked in the description. It'll also be it's probably on screen right now. If the end card is rolling. I don't know when this, I need to stop now. Anyway, bye everyone.
Bye.